Hey, what's going on, guys? GoMegaGames here. In this video we're going to be talking about three topics. The first one is how one can reuse the single piece of JavaScript code in both browser as a front end and on a back end like Node.js or whatever common JS environment. The second topic would be the pros and cons of considering JavaScript when one wants to write a chess engine with some fascinating example proving that JavaScript is actually a very good idea to use it as a language, as the weapon of choice language when writing a chess engine, despite the fact that it's the slowest, probably the slowest language possible out there, and for chess it's generally a bad idea. But still, I really have some thoughts to share with you guys regarding this topic. And sorry. And finally, I would like to talk about the current project, about the project I'm currently working on, which kind of brings all my previous projects all together. So every time I'm trying to make something that is a summary of my previous work, and every time when I'm doing this, every next attempt seems to be, having some downsides. So I'm trying to figure out what would be the better format for this idea. So that would be at the very end for those who are really interested in what am I doing in particular. But first, let's actually go in the order that was mentioned just right now. So the very first issue. Well, say I just want to show you the source code first of all. So I have a single JavaScript file here. Let me just open this JavaScript file that can be run in both in the browser and via Node.js. So here is the JavaScript code. We'll quickly walk through the structure without giving an idea of what in particular is in there. And if I have a look at this HTML, just to give you an idea how simple it is. So in the HTML, I'm creating the single div, and probably it would be even a better idea to create this div within the JavaScript itself. I just thought that might be really nice. So eventually, it would be the only script in the HTML to actually run it. Probably that's the first thing that I will do after finishing recording this video. And so this HTML actually allows to run this single JavaScript code in the browser and see this sort of so we have some console logs here, but obviously we can just provide some piece movements. Unlike my previous project with chessboard library, which and here I just forked my chessboard library to reuse in this new JavaScript chess engine project, but it doesn't yet know anything about rules of chess, unfortunately, because I'm going to be rewriting the move generator to make it faster and more reliable. But anyways, not the point. So we have some code that relies on the document object, which is specific to web browser environment. And as you probably already guessed, as you could have guessed already, we can reference the document object in Node.js because it just has no idea about what the heck is that. So here is the simple trick that I found on the internet on how one can do this. So I'm just creating a single variable, instantiating the object, and it's based on this sort of a function where the entire engine lives. So all the stuff that would be needed to run a chess engine and the GUI, everything lies within this engine object. So, and here is the reusable function. So the print board function would be used not only in browser here, but also it would be used in JavaScript, in Node.js. So if I just open the terminal in the current working directory and run absolutely the same file, you see like the sprint board function looks exactly the same how it looks here in the console. And obviously when there would be the full-blown chess engine, everything that would be available here in console, everything a part of the GUI would be available in Node.js. Now you might wonder why one wants to do that. Well, in case of chess engine, that's crystal clear idea. So we want our chess engine to be easy accessible via browser, so no need to install any programming languages, specific applications, no environment, just the bare browser and the statically hosted, literally the single JavaScript file on GitHub, and you can play chess online and make use of all the features that would be available in future out there. It's the best user experience. Unlikely my previous attempt of creating of running chess engine in the backend, which is also a good idea. But when your engine runs on a backend, it's kind of like it depends on the server, and if something happens to the server, your engine is kind of dead. But the JavaScript completely runs in the browser, so it's only the matter of your own environment, and it literally doesn't rely on any remote servers. So you can, at very least, you can just download the stuff, just download literally 2 files, like one HTML file, one JavaScript file, and run it locally, and you have exactly the same functionality. So yeah, and on the other hand, the idea is to be able to, well, for those who really are fans of chess programming and testers, who like to make matches like engine versus engine, and for test sites like computer chess rating list, CRL, to rate the engine, among others. It's obviously absolutely necessary feature to have a UCI protocol, a UCI interface, which is Universal Chess Interface. So we could have actually connect our engine to existing GUIs like Arena and things like that. So the idea is to have a single code base of a chess engine, but depending on the environment, a different interfaces would get invoked in order to work appropriately. So now let me just get to the point. Yeah, I know I should have done that probably at the very beginning of this video, but anyway, without an idea of why this is needed, it would be not that easy to understand probably, like how exactly it works. I might be wrong though. So it's all the matter of two variables. So if I have this exports object, which is specific to Node.js, so if it's not equal to undefined, which means that we could kind of export the module, that means that we are within the Node.js environment. So Node.js is not an environment. The environment is called CommonJS, and Node.js is just a way to work with that environment. So if we have this exports, this means that we are kind of like on a backend, and then we enter in the so-called UCI mode. So here I just log in a line to console and just creating the engine instance and running the debug just to print my board to the console. That's kind of it. And if on the other hand, if we have the type of document, which is browser front-end specific object, so if this is available, we'll go into the browser mode and we're just doing literally all the same stuff. But again, like a very interesting thing that you've seen that the chessboard has been initialized in the browser, right? But none of code been involved here. So well, I could have actually bring the entire GUI part down here, but I really want to keep it, like kind of within the engine, basically. So here in the main driver, I would be having only the shortcuts to the modes, basically. And if I just scroll up a little bit and go into my GUI part within the engine, here the entire code that works with the GUI, it works conditionally. So if this document is kind of like available, if the document object is available, then we step in this sort of a site, and we defining the update board function, draw board function, and eventually, well, we're also handling the drag and drop events, touch or click events, so to make it working easier on touch devices. So the current implementation assumes that on touch devices, drag and drop would be disabled, and 2 clicks would be enabled, while in non-touch devices you can simply kind of like drag and drop pieces like on a laptop. So, and eventually, in order to initialize the board, we actually kind of running it. We're calling this draw board and update board functions at the very end. But again, like in Node.js mode, this sort of a code, all this code is not gonna fire because we simply have this document object not being available. So that's a very, very simple idea of how one can distinguish between Node.js and browser in pure JavaScript. So that's the whole idea, very simple. And just to give you an idea how cool this is, what does this mean for us as a developers? This means that we can combine the fact of having some extended some features that extend the main app. In my case, this is the chess engine that could be used as like some library-like features maybe. So this means that if we just import this module to some sort of a project, well, obviously in that case I won't be allowed to run to update the board in this way. So we probably need to provide an API for it to make it from literally this from the API. So from the other script it would be reshareable like that. But anyway, the idea is that we can share the functionality that might be useful for some sort of other projects from the single engine, both in the front end, if it comes to sharing the chessboard feature to kind of provide a chessboard, or connecting it to some other engine or some backend engine or whatever, or maybe, I don't know, like so there might be various aspects where you actually need the chessboard. Say you want to just share the PGN file and just provide a chessboard that would be able to handle that PGN. So that's kind of it basically. And on the other hand, if it comes to the backend stuff, so say you have your web backend written involving Node.js completely, and this is some sort of a chess-related stuff that works with, say, PGNs. You say you want to transform PGN to the set of FENs for some reason, like for analysis, for machine learning, whatever. In that case, some sort of a functions that would be available in the backend might be reused using this sort of a module. So, well, I didn't yet actually make it being kind of exportable, but anyway, that might also be the option one day. So this kind of two modes, apart from making it possible to run the engine in the browser mode and in the UCI mode, also makes it possible to use the engine as both as the front-end library for providing some chessboard related functionality, and also as the back-end library providing some back-end functionality, like working with PGNs or something. So I hope that is clear. And at the very end, a few words regarding this project in particular and the steps I've been through in order to come to this hopefully eventual solution, basically. So something that I was working previously. Okay. So I think I've dropped the in between a very important part on. Is this a good idea to use JavaScript for chess engines? Yeah, so sorry, let's cover that first, and then I'll get back to why am I doing this project for those interested. So a very interesting question that being asked on TalkChess forum by TalkChess forum community members quite pretty a lot of time, like, why the heck to write a chess engine in JavaScript when JavaScript is five times slower compared to native C? It's kind of like you can't really do much of it, so it would be say you have the same engine in C and in JavaScript. So the one that runs in JavaScript would be kind of like 5 times slower compared to the one that is written in C. And you might wonder, like, why the heck to write that engine when it's doomed to be weaker compared to its equivalent in C. And at this point, I'd like to share some thoughts. Well, this is basically the only downside of considering JavaScript is the reason that I've just mentioned. So it just would be 5 times slower. And for most developers, unfortunately, this is something that makes them to abandon JavaScript as a weapon of choice when they want to create a new chess engine. But for me personally, that's not a problem at all, because the benefits of using JavaScript are so fantastic. So I'll just mention those benefits, and it's you guys to choose, you guys to judge basically whether it's a good idea to use JavaScript for a chess engine or not. And I would really appreciate if you share your opinions in the commentaries below this video. So the very first benefit of using JavaScript, it's absolute cross-platform environment. So you have a web browser on your computer, on your laptop, on your touch devices, no matter whether this is the smartphone or a tablet, no matter if it runs on Android or iOS. Always, everywhere, on any possible device, you would have a web browser. And that means that within your web browser, you don't really need to install the chess engine at all. You can just navigate to the statically hosted page, like the one on GitHub, that just includes this source script that actually provides the functionality of working with the chess engine. And that means that just by simple navigating to a particular endpoint within your browser, you can already obtain a working, full-blown chess engine in a matter of seconds, basically, depending on the speed of your internet connection, obviously. So that's the most benefit. So it's absolute cross-platform. You don't need to port it to Android or to iOS, or you don't need to care about the compilation issues and things like that. So it works everywhere, always, and very easy. So that's the first benefit. Well, the second benefit is JavaScript is a very high-level language, and well, for me personally, it's really it's a pleasure to write in this engine, and especially the matter of having an ability to work with objects without defining a classes is absolutely fascinating. For me personally, that's something that I love so much, really. So just from the developer's perspective, it's like if you were writing in C, but you're really free to do almost everything you want there. So it's very I don't know. I just really love to code in JavaScript, and I don't know. I just like this language so much. Even though professionally I'm working with Python, still, well, JavaScript, due to its ability to run on both front end and back end, makes it absolutely unique language, because I think there is no other language that allows you to do the same stuff, because only JavaScript works in the browser. No Python, no Ruby, no whatever other language, but JavaScript. And at the same time, you have JavaScript on the back end. So this is the third and the last big pro regarding why to use JavaScript. So you can run both in front end and on the back end. So I don't know, maybe these reasons are not enough, but these are just the reasons from the technical perspective of using a language. And from the chess programming perspective, I have a few more reasons of why to consider JavaScript, and why it's not, maybe not why to consider JavaScript, but probably more likely like why it's not a problem that JavaScript is 5 times slower compared to other languages. So in today's chess programming world, when neural nets conquering the world, in both kind of type of them, like if this is alpha 0, lila chess 0 type neural nets, and especially the newest version of alpha 0 known as mu 0, which if I'm not mistaken, which doesn't even need a mu generator to actually know what move is legal to make in a current position, which is absolutely fascinating. But again, like for noobs like me, that would probably never be an option to consider, because like there is no more chess programming. That's just the neural net programming. It's completely different mindset. Everything is completely different. But again, like I don't know, like fortunately or unfortunately, that sort of approach, well, to my personal opinion, one day it would beat the traditional alphabet engines completely, just because, I don't know, you just see what happens now. So like these neural network-based chess engines are really getting stronger every day, and it's just a matter of the hardware. So now the hardware is not yet powerful enough to serve those algorithms, but when the hardware would be stronger, alphabet engines would get doomed basically, and I think that would be the end of the alphabet engines era in general. So here I'd like to mention a kind of new, I don't know how to call it properly, a new reason of why to write a chess engine. I like making videos describing the reasons on why to make chess engines. And here is one very interesting reason. So when you write in a chess engine, it's quite different from working on some sort of a real world project that is which goal is to get a particular result. Like chess engine development is always a process. Even though you have a result like a working chess engine that you can play chess with, that you can connect to via the UCI protocol, you can play with versus other engines, it can obtain the rating, things like that. But still, it's more like a process. And all the chess programmers I know personally, they all are more likely to be involved within this process, and that is something they enjoy. This is why they enjoy the development of a chess engine, because this is the process where the only thing that matters really and intention is the relative change of the strength of your chess engine. So say if you can obtain 100 elo points and 200 elo points from the current version of your chess engine, that's already a great victory to you. But again, so here is the point. The matter of satisfaction as a developer is actually the fact of getting those extra elo points in strength of your engine, that regardless of programming language. So let's say, I just give you a quick example. So let's say we have an engine in C and an engine in JavaScript, and both have absolutely the same implementation. So let's say the chess engine in C has the elo rating of 200 and 20. Let's say 2500s for C engine, and let's say 2200s for JavaScript engine. So same engine, but the JavaScript say would be weaker on 300 of elo points. But when it comes to the improvement, if you improve your C chess engine as well as your JavaScript engine by, let's say 200 elo points, so it would be respectively 2700s for C engine and 2500s for JavaScript engine. But the matter of internal satisfaction, what you have done, is literally absolutely the same. And again, when it was all about the absolute strength of a chess engine, when there was this neural net based chess engines, it was still kind of possible to come closer to the top engines, right? But now with this neural nets, it's kind of this horizon is going further and further every next day. So for me personally, I realized that I would never ever get to that top, and I don't really actually aim of doing that, because again, for me, chess programming is a matter of enjoying the process, not the result. So when it comes to the relative strength of how strong your engine becomes compared to the previous version, the satisfaction you're getting as a developer is programming language agnostic, basically. And this is the most important part, basically. So when you're making progress, doesn't matter the absolute strength of your engine. The relative strength is everything there. And again, in JavaScript, quite surprisingly, I didn't actually know that is possible, but quite surprisingly, a very strong chess engine can be done. And here I want to mention, as the author claims, the strongest JavaScript was the first. Okay, so here is a chess engine. It's called tomitankChess. What's the author name? Yeah, this is Tamas Kuzmits. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly this name. So Tamas has created so the 2.0 version was the first full bitboard JavaScript chess engine in the world, believe it or not. And the way he uses, like you don't have an unsigned 64-bit long integer in JavaScript. So what Tamas does, he uses two 32-bit integers, and he uses the higher and lower bits to encode the single bitboard for a current given piece, which is really, really great. So make sure to have a look at the source code. It's the only file, and I really love it, and I'm getting inspired every time I'm looking at this source code. Despite the fact that it's most likely it's inspired by legendary Vice chess engine by Blue Fever Software. The reason why I'm actually saying that is because let's say in the search there is a function pick next move, which is exactly the same like how it was in Vice. This checkup function, well, the function names are the same, and yeah, the quiescent structure, the search seems to be derived from Vice as well, but it doesn't ever mean that the author has stolen the source code or something. But just to give you an idea of how valuable the work of Tamas is, so he has created an engine which is currently, believe it or not, 2830 elo points. So this is absolutely fantastic result for a JavaScript chess engine, believe it or not. And he also has an Android app for it, iOS app, and I'm not sure, but I believe that probably Android should be using. Well, if he didn't, obviously, if he didn't make a JavaScript version of his engine for both, I mean, JavaScript version for Android and probably C# version for iOS. In that case, he probably used some sort of what is known as the web view in Android. Well, at least the web view was on the cards, say 5 years ago when I was dealing with Android a little bit, and probably that's how he encapsulates his JavaScript chess engine there. But anyway, he has a very fantastic UI for his engine, which is really about friendly, and I don't know, can I? Yeah, it does even seem to remember the previous game state or something. I don't know. It has the fancy sounds, so it's really kind of nice. So yeah, and it's a really strong chess engine as well. So I'll give you a link in the description. Not only the GUI, but the source code is very, very interesting to explore, and I'm getting, again, like I'm reading the source code almost every day now and getting inspired by this so much. Even though it's not really in my style, but I don't know, I just really like how Tamas does this stuff here. So with JavaScript, we can reach at least 2830 elo points, which is almost the rating threshold for so-called TSEC, which is top chess engine competition, which is the event that involves only the strongest top chess engines in the world. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the rating should be no less than 2900 of elo points. So yeah, not sure if tomitankChess actually participated in TSEC. I didn't check that out, but anyway, this result for a JavaScript engine, believe it or not, is absolutely fascinating. So, and yeah, the idea that I was mentioning in the very beginning of this video, so it can run in the Arena GUI or in the QChess, which is fancy command line application for testing chess engines. So using Node.js, and it can run in the web browser, and also it makes use of so-called web workers. But again, like even though the web worker is a really nice way of doing asynchronous tasks that running apparently faster compared to just the strict browser execution, still this has a limitation of the fact that you need to have your user interface outside the engine, because web worker takes the entire JavaScript file as an input to make it work, and then it communicates with that. But in my case, I really want to have the user interface being a part of a source code, but being a part of an engine object. So web workers are not an option for me, I think. Well, maybe I might get wrong. So I would most likely be using promises in order to make my search asynchronous, but I'm not really sure at the moment how in particular I'm supposed to be dealing with that. But anyway, so this was regarding okay, what I was talking about, I don't even remember. So why to consider JavaScript? Yeah, probably. Why to consider JavaScript as a weapon of choice language when you want to create your own chess engine? And a few words at the very end on how I came up with this current project. So I just want to show you my GitHub for those of you who's not aware of this. Well, I've created really lots of chess engines. The most interesting ones are WooCoon and BBC. BBC is my current strongest chess engine that I've covered in 95 video series here on Chess Programming channel. I'll just give you an idea. Well, I'll give you links in the description below this video to give you an idea of what this kind of means. Yeah, let me just okay, switch account. Sorry, just was on my tomitankChess channel. Okay, so I had two big playlists. I have two big playlists here. Your channel, okay. So yeah, this one, Bitboard Chess Engine in C, covers on how to create this, as I call it, the simplest, the easiest to understand Bitboard Chess Engine by tomitankChess. That's me. And you can play online versus this, as I've been already mentioning here, just to give, just to have an experience of how strong it is. It runs natively on the remote server, probably that's Amazon Web Server host that interacted with Python Anywhere service to, and I'm using pythonChess, a library to interact with the native binary executable to interact with the JavaScript front end. But this is not the library that I've made. This is the library that I was inspired by when creating my own. And a bit easier chess engine, not easier. It's not that strong. So if BBC is with the Stockfish and NE, it has the strength of 2937, but without the Stockfish and NE, it is only 2096, and WooCoon is much weaker. But WooCoon has a hexadecimal 88 board representation, so it doesn't make use of the fancy bitboard approach. And in JavaScript, that's more beneficial, just easier to implement, while we still have lots of opportunities within the search. Obviously, it won't be that fast as the bitboard implementation, but I think that might make some sense to me, at least from the perspective of relative change of the engine's strength, basically. So I have this WooCoon chess engine, not the entire engine, but its mode generator being covered in the tutorial series of this one, hexadecimal 88 mode generator. So you can have a look at that if you're interested in how it works, basically. So this is where I started when it came to creating this chess programming channel on YouTube, and so later on, I created a video series on how to connect, this one, web-based GUI for your chess engine, how to connect existing JavaScript libraries to interact with the chess engine that runs on the backend on the remote server. And then I just thought that why not just to make why not to make my own chessboard library, believe it or not. But when I started, I brought that to some sort of a point, but I decided to switch to the current project, and I'll now explain you why, basically. So, yeah, this is my chessboard widget. So, just to give you an idea how it looks, so here you can already make legal moves, so it won't allow you making some illegal moves. Okay, so you can only make legal moves here, and it also can it can also keep track of the entire game state via making moves and taking them back. So, well, most of you probably seen this, who already are my subscribers. We can also paste the FEN string and set the chessboard position, or give moves in UCI format to initialize the move stack. So whatever we've done as while making moves on the board, we can just specify moves like e2, e4, just give you an idea. So here we don't have anything, but if I say like e2, e4, e7, e5, g1 to f3, and then make it set, then we have these moves being set up. So this is just a matter of a move stack. And again, I would be reusing this within my latest project. So I was just kind of like trying my forces, basically trying my skills. But again, like I realized that I don't really want, well, first I thought it might be a good idea to create exactly the front-end library, but then I realized that when it comes to front-end, you need to deal with the issues like browser compatibility, which is just an awful pain, to be honest, when it works in Chrome but doesn't work in Firefox and so on. I didn't even try it on different browsers, so it might be a complete pain. But when the project is mainly a chess engine, and it only optionally features some GUI, in this case, the level of workaround of the GUI might be, I think this might be enough, because the main scope of the project is actually the chess engine itself, and all this GUI and probably some backend workings on I don't know, like chess utilities like specific tasks like parsing PGNs, working with FENs, converting PGNs to set of FENs, etc. It might be kind of nice side effects, basically. So what I'm trying to do in my current project, for those, if somebody's still watching this video, so I'm trying to take, well, actually, I forgot to mention that my chessboard is actually based on the move generator of Wukong chess engine, which is this one, the weaker one, and the one that uses the hexadecimal 88 move generator. But I'm rewriting this move generator now in my latest Wukong.js project, hence the name, by the way. So, well, first of all, I just I'm giving variables camel case JavaScript style names, so to make it look like more JavaScript, because my Python background actually was making my JavaScript code was some sort of a mixture of Python and C, and here I'm trying to make it look like a real JavaScript, basically. And also the way how the particular move generator works is probably the simplest way possible. Let's say it doesn't have the take back function. Instead, I'm just copying the board position and state variables and then restoring them back when it comes to the recursive self calls of either the move generator or search. But I really want to implement the take back function. Hopefully it would be faster. And also for quest and search, I would like to implement the function called generate captures to generate only captures, because at the moment I'm generating all the moves and only making the captures, which definitely slows down the performance. Also, I'm going to be adding some piece lists to the move generator to some data structures that are incrementally updated in order to instantly look up the square of a current given piece without a need to loop over the entire set of board squares, which is, in theory, should make the move generator about 30% faster. Well, at least according to Richard Olbert, also known as Bluefever Software, as he mentioned in his Chess Engine in C series on YouTube, the series that I was learning chess programming from initially. Okay, guys, so I think this is it, and probably one very last thing I wanted to mention regarding probably the future of this project. So regarding tutorials, I think that actually I did everything I could do. Yeah, And let's say this project that I'm currently working on, I'm not making tutorial series on it because again, like, I just don't want to have those duplications. So if you see my Wacom tutorials and this BBC tutorials, you will understand how the chess engine works. And the GUI is quite pretty self-explanatory. It's nothing really complicated there. So the appropriate format to me would be just to make some sort of a short videos. Well, this video was meant to be short. Unfortunately, it's not. But anyway, some short videos highlighting some interesting parts, like improving the mode generator speed, like what I've done to make my mode generator faster. Some key points on making the engine stronger, apparently. So some reports, like development progress reports, something of that format. And I think that the only reason for me to actually making some sort of a tutorials regarding chess programming, either chess engines or GUI, here on this channel would probably so the only source of inspiration that would make me doing that is probably your requests. So if you have something unclear from my existing tutorials, you can always request a new one, and hopefully if I have time I will be able to cover that in a format like helping my subscriber. I already have one video when I was I don't even remember where is that. It's not on the playlist apparently. I had one video when I was working with my subscribers code, trying to point out what was wrong there and how to proceed basically. So I hope that's kind of clear. So I'm still open to your questions, and if I can help you with chess programming, I would be happy to do that. And at the very end of this video, I want to share my final observations apparently, or how to call it, some conclusions that I came up with. So again, like, despite the fact that eventually when I just started this project, this channel, I was too ambitious in terms of I wanted to duplicate the experience of my another YouTube channel, which is called King, where I'm doing mostly web scraping, and that's the YouTube channel that actually serves as the only source of my today's income from the money perspective I'm in. So I thought that I was too ambitious, thinking like, if I could do this with web scraping, I would be able to do this with the chess programming as well. But it's not that easy with chess programming because, like, I still believe that making money on chess programming is possible, but it's much more difficult compared to, say, web scraping, because web scraping is really popular and really needed by various types of businesses. It's hard to imagine business that does not need web scraping, basically, because you can offer web scraping to whatever business and try to make it realize that it really needs it. So it's much easier to make money on that compared to chess programming. And until this moment, I was trying to make my content serving the purpose that one day I would be able to make money with this. But at this particular moment, I want to claim that finally I'm dropping that hope, actually, to start making money by chess programming ever. Still, that is possible, obviously, but I just want to say that this idea of trying to make money with chess programming would no longer influence the way of how am I doing the content and the way of what am I doing and etc. So from now on, this channel turns to be some sort of, again, like, development progress report. That's probably the most appropriate format to the most appropriate name for the format that I'm supposed to be making videos in. And what else? And I would be trying to show more likely the reasons of why I'm doing this in particular. So it's for the process, more likely for process rather than for the result. And in this case, you're really calm. You don't have any deadlines, and you're having fun. You're making it for your own pleasure. And like, what's the difference between the art and the craft? So the art is some sort of an activity when you're trying to take your internal flow and give it a form in the external world. And the better the external form represents how your inner nature, the more valuable the art is. And when it comes to the craft is something that serves the purpose of solving someone else's issues. And the only thing matters within the craft is the problem solving and getting the proper result. And nobody really cares about your internal world and how likely the crafts how likely the crafts in general actually fit your internal world. Does it fit or it doesn't? No, nobody cares. So that's how the business works, basically. So unfortunately, but that's the world we're living in. So I just really want to make as I don't really remember who the guy was that on TalkChess forum, but I remember a quote by someone, a guy who actually said there was a talk like either to use chess programming for making money or not, and he said like it doesn't make sense because it takes all the fun away from the process. And when I read that, I didn't really realize what he meant in particular. And he was just explaining like when it comes to a real job, you need to make documentation, you need to do some extra stuff that takes all the fun of creating a chess engine when you're making this actually for fun for your own self. And well, obviously, creating documentation is not always being involved, even though it happens quite pretty often. But still, there are projects that don't force you to provide the documentation for your code. But anyway, he was totally right in terms of when it's art, it serves your own purposes. You try to express yourself, and when it's a craft, nobody cares about your self-expression, how much you can do that. You still can express yourself within the craft, but the main goal there is to provide a result that your customer, that your client wants actually, and not something that you want. And I've realized that even in web scraping, when I was experimenting with one-line scraper videos, when I was creating the full-blown web scraper in the only single line of Python code, believe it or not, this was really fun because you just run the only single line of Python code and you get 1,000 lines of CSV file in return with the database scraper from a website, and that was really fun. But no one actually wants to have that in their production. Well, to be honest, I've sold one of these one-liners for $50 one day, but that's more likely an exception rather than a rule to rely on. So even in web scraping, which seems to be business friendly kind of job, still even there something that really brings you fun is not something that your clients want to have running in their production. So with this thoughts in mind, I hope it would be more clear why I'm about to drop my ambitions on landing a job in as a chess programmer, basically, and more focusing on having fun, enjoying the process, and bringing the joy generated from this process to you guys to inspire you to learn how to code. I don't know, to refactor your code, working with the code. Yeah, but by the way, in JavaScript, you still can refactor your code, making it better. So something that doesn't affect the plain strength of the engine at all, but something that pleases you as a developer when you're working with your code, when you're cleaning your code up and things like that. So that's something that very something very pleasant, basically. So for those developers, I think you understand, guys, what I'm talking about. So this is it from my side, guys. The further videos are intended to be kind of news digests on my development progress of my current project, Ukun Chess Engine JavaScript version, that would be running in both in browser and in UCI mode via Node.js. So I hope this would be fun and really bring some joy to your lives in these tough days. So this is it from my side. Hope to see you in the next videos on this channel. Until that time, and take care.